leaders in the house? Yeah. That should be yes from everyone, right? That should be, we are at leaders meeting, are we not? Yes. Right, the charge I've been given is baptizing leaders. Turn your Bibles to Exodus 18. Why do we need leaders? I think I was speaking to Luke about this the other day. I was just like, bro, I just don't really want to like share with like these big guys, you know. I know we need leaders, but like it's just intimidating, and I'm kind of like, oh, my pride is getting in there and all this kind of stuff. But then when I got this charge, I was like, am I this example of a leader? Like, what does it mean to be a leader? But then I started asking myself the question, why do we need leaders? Okay, and it's because there's a lot of work to be done. There's just a lot of work to be done, and you're prideful to think that you can do it on your own. I was prideful for thinking that we don't need any more leaders, right? Because there's a whole country to be evangelized. Can one man evangelize Dublin? No. Can one man evangelize Ireland? No. Can one man evangelize every nation in one generation? No. Did Jesus evangelize every nation in his generation? No. So who are we to think that we can? That's just madness. So we shouldn't expect to do it all on ourselves. A lot of us struggle with pride. And a lot of the pride is the fact that we come at it and it's just like, don't worry, I've got this. Don't worry, yeah. I'll take it all on. But how soon you trip. How soon you trip. Andrew Carney says, no man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself or to get all the credit for doing it. Ralph Nader says this, I start with the premise that the function of a leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. Okay, and what I like about this quote is that it says to produce more leaders. So we may look at people and not see a leader, but they can become a leader. That's how God sees us. He doesn't look at us and be like, yeah, they're cranky. And they're like, no, they've got so much more in them, right? So how does this happen? What do we need to do? In Exodus 18, a bit of a precursor, Jethro visits his son-in-law Moses. Moses sits on the throne as a judge from morning until evening, judging all the needs of everyone that is there, dealing with every dispute, and teaching them God's decrees and instructions. But what is Jethro's response to this? We read in verse 17, Moses' father-in-law replied, what are you doing? What you are doing is not good. Right. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Right? So that should knock out any sort of pride to think that we can do it on our own, right? So let's listen to Jethro's wise counsel in verse 19. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. Okay? But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain. Okay? So what we have to do is to make leaders, we have to select capable men. What does a capable man look like in the Bible, though? Biblical leadership is a man who fears God, a man who loves truth, and a man who hates dishonest gain. We can so often look at leadership in the world as a man with big muscles, a man who is loud, and a man that is proud, right? But God pops muscles. God silences the loud, and he mocks the proud, okay? So our job is to find these capable men and to teach them. Moses had to go out, find these capable men, teach them everything that he was then doing to distribute the load so that it wasn't all on his back, right? So we have to go and teach these men God's decrees and their instructions. That is what we are doing in the first principles, and teaching them how to live and to behave so that they can go and teach the thousands and hundreds and fifties and tens the same things, teaching them God's decrees and instructions, teach them how to live and to behave. We often talk about sharing with worthy souls, one and the same, a capable soul is the same, right? So before we do, though, to attract good leaders, we have to be a good leader. And to be a good leader, we have to be a good follower. Because otherwise, they are going to be following your leadership at your disobedience, right? So if we are disobedient to those that we are leading, how should we expect them to follow us? We have to check ourselves and make sure that our following our leaders is on form, right? Okay, so some examples of some great followers. Peter in Mark 1, he hears the call, he drops his net and follows immediately. Elisha in 1 Kings destroyed his day job, left his family and followed immediately. Timothy in Acts 16 doesn't reportedly resist being called by Paul, allows himself to be circumcised and follows immediately. Oh, and there's Jesus, of course, who follows God's commands even to death on the cross, right? So what I want to challenge you guys to do is to look at the guys that are sat across from you when you're studying the Bible and see if they are a capable soul, a capable person. Are they serious about God? We are looking for leaders. Yes, we need to baptize everyone, but right now we can't be doing all the heavy loading. As I was preaching about earlier about the burden, we need to be able to increase the capacity, broaden our shoulders so that we can carry it as a church, carry everyone else, so we can carry more people. So we need to make sure that those people that we are studying with fear God, that they love the truth, and that they despise injustice. Right? We live in a world where no one really respects authority anymore. So no wonder they don't respect God. So they need, but they don't know what they don't know. So quite often we need to actually teach them how to fear God. So teach them how to fear God. Teach them the truth. Teach them to hate injustice. Right? Jethro goes on to say that by doing this, you'll make your load lighter. Okay. So my practical for you guys is to pray for capable men, capable women, who love God, who fear God, who love the truth, and hate injustice. And then you have to ask the people who are sat across from you, do you fear God? Challenge those religious people. Do they fear God? I had to do that with Freezy today, and he sort of hesitated, but yes, he does. You know, and you have to really challenge them, because the fear of God is what keeps me in check sometimes. I have to remind myself of the fear of God. We all should, because we forget at times. And then I'd suggest you write a supplementary study as well for those people who don't know what fearing God is. That's what was great about Tomiwa when he was studying. Tomiwa had to do some studies, so Trey and Luke came together to teach him how to fear God. It's so important, because from our fear and respect and love and awe and appreciation of God comes everything else, comes pure obedience, and therefore comes leadership, right? So, because if they are capable, they will surely get baptized. So I love you, and to God be all the glory.